Welcome to the Sangha House and our meditation YouTube channel. Now each show we look at a particular topic, and this evening's show I'm asking, what's my point? What's my purpose? So we're going to take a look at this question, what is my purpose? And I'm going to have a look at it from two perspectives. The traditional view, if you like, the way we usually think, and the Buddhist perspective. But don't worry, you don't have to be a Buddhist to appreciate the Buddhist perspective. You could translate this view to any spiritual tradition, actually. Before I get into it, let's take a look at something else from the Buddhist tradition, the idea of two realities, relative reality and absolute reality. So I'm going to kind of draw these out with a few examples. Imagine you come into a room and there on the coffee table is a gold bar, and you kind of zero in on it, you attach to it and you see the value. You might start thinking, wow, what could I do with all that money? If a dog now walks into the room, the most it will do is sniff that gold bar. It's just a rock. And actually this is a classic example of the difference between relative and absolute. So the relative view sees the value, it overlays that human comprehension of what it is. The absolute, it's just a shiny rock. All sorts of things have this north, south, east, west. That's something that doesn't really exist. We've created it. So lots of things. So we can quite easily see how human concepts and labelling overlay the world as it is. What's slightly more tricky is the human being, because actually us humans have this perception that we are somehow permanent and unchanging. But Buddhist practice shows that this isn't the case. Through meditation, contemplation, we discover that in fact we are being remade, reborn every moment, constantly changing. Even our very characters being reformed all the time. Now these changes might be very, very tiny, and therefore they become imperceptible, so we think of ourselves as permanent. If you think about your children, when your children are growing up, you see them every day. You don't see them grow. You don't notice them growing. But if Great Aunt Maud comes to visit, she hasn't seen them for 5 years, she'll probably say, "Oh my word, haven't you grown?" Our own change is as gradual as this, so we don't see it. As I mentioned, we have to live in both worlds, the relative and the absolute. Money and value don't actually exist, human concepts. Value does exist in the animal world. Birds fight over food, and in the world of ants, an ant's farm, they often farm aphids by protecting them from predators in exchange for honeydew secretions. So there's a value there, an exchange. Value and money are useful. We can deliver compassion with money. And it'd be very hard to live in our modern world if we had to barter with sheep all the time. We can measure fair treatment with value. We can give a gift to bring joy to another person. And there's been a lot of work in the UK recently about minimum wage and how this is based around a living wage. All good work. Lots of compassion-based work here. And I know there's still people living in poverty, but at least the effort is being made now. But of course, if we don't see the absolute world, where money doesn't exist and value isn't real, we can slip into a world entirely driven by the relative, by something like money. And well, frankly, that is rather an example of the modern world, isn't it? Many of these days, people only exist in the relative world, hence the focus on money, success, prevalence of fear in our society, things like this. So as Buddhists, we need to see both worlds. We have to live in the relative world, but also see the absolute world. This understanding of these two realities help to answer this question of our purpose. because many of us come at this question from the relative view. So we establish a focus on success in our job or our business, good relationships, progressing, making money, having and owning. There's nothing wrong with this. If you work hard and do well at work, obviously you're going to be proud of your achievements. If you're kind and compassionate, you'll have good relationships. Also, many people are in this fortunate position with wealth or good relationships. They offer compassion out. They're being nice, donating to charity, donating their time. But all of us, even those in these fortunate positions, have times in our lives when we ask, what is my point? What's my purpose? Because we know we can't take it with us at the end of our lives. For those of us that aren't necessarily in these fortunate positions, we may feel this question arise more often. And of course, when we ask this, we're asking at it from a basis of wondering if there's something more important in our role than just satisfying the material relative world. Let's do our first meditation to center us, let go of thoughts, get in touch with pure awareness. Because if we're going to answer this question from the place of the absolute world, we're going to need that pure awareness without the overlay of thoughts, biases, opinions, etc. Relaxing down. Just settle into your seat. First of all, just check into your sitting bones, and then by taking the body, the upper body, slightly forwards and backwards and side to side, find a place where the upper body just kind of settles. It just balances itself over the sitting bones. This is an excellent position for meditation. Now here, just gently close the eyes and let the gaze rest slightly downcast. This activates the concentration elements of mind. Take a couple of nice, gentle, deep breaths and a feeling of letting go on the out-breath. Okay, now settle a gentle intent into the mind that for this short time you're going to let go of everything. Whatever worries you've got in your life, you're going to let go. You're just going to devote this time to the practice. Nothing else matters. Not for now. So we're going to begin our body scan. Take your mind down into your feet, your awareness in your feet, and just feel. Tune into those tiny little sensations inside the feet and out on the surface on the skin. Take a look at their nature. They don't last very long, those sensations. They're fleeting. Little sparks of energy that we notice. Then they're gone, and another one comes into their place. Constantly changing. Nothing in this experience feels permanent. Come out onto the soles of the feet. Maybe you feel contact with the ground. Certainly those tiny little sparks of energy again. That's life you're feeling. Really enjoy it, go into it. As we travel through the body, also look for tension and release it, let it go. And the influence of mind. Thoughts may come, expectations, judgment. Let all that go. Drive the mind to a place of pure awareness. Work gently now up over the heel and up into the ankle bones. It's quite interesting here. There's less sensation, but it doesn't matter. As we always remember here, we're not necessarily looking to discover lots of sensation. We're learning to drive the mind to a place of pure awareness. Okay, so now travel up through the shins and the calf muscles. Again, letting go of all that tension, softening. Gentle vigilance all the time to see if the mind is interfering with thoughts or expectations. Just feel. And we come up into the knees, exploring them. You can check out the knee pits and the kneecaps. And then we travel along the thighs and the hamstrings. You may be able to feel the contact of your clothing. Tune in and see. Now into the sitting bones. Allowing yourself to relax into the seat. Enjoying the pull of the earth, the gravity. You feel the deep stillness of the earth through the seat. Nice and safe. Now checking in with the spine and the back as we allow the head to float up a little. And you'll feel those muscles either side of the spine gently easing out, spine unkinking. A feeling of presence and purpose comes into the posture with this, helping you to stay with the practice. Come into the heart space. Check out the heart and the gut. Soften into your experience here. The heart holds our emotional energy, not the thoughts behind those emotions, but the raw feeling of the emotion itself. So go in and just feel and investigate. See what you can feel. But don't try and name the emotions or understand them. Just experience them exactly the same way as you've experienced the rest of the body. Just feel. How does your heart feel? We come up to the shoulders. Let go of the tension here. Just soften. Then run the awareness down the arms into the hands and the fingers. Now back up to the head and explore the surface of the head, the scalp. Soften the face. Let go of tension in the face. Explore the sensations in it. We bring the idea of a Buddha-like smile, a contented smile into the face, softening all the time. Now bring all of this experience together from the toes through to the top of the head. Just experience the whole body sitting in your space. Deep contentment just to be here, letting go of thought, letting go of tension, just sitting, just being. The roots of a tree do not envy its branches. Each serves the other in quiet harmony. In Buddhist thinking, and particularly dependent arising, we say that we condition ourselves through our thoughts and our volitional actions, but we also condition the world. And this conditioning runs deep. It moulds our minds. If our minds have an aggressive, closed, selfish, tense shape to them, when pure awareness is poured in, it'll take that shape. This is the world we'll perceive. But we can change the shape of our mind, making it compassionate, selfless, open, gentle, etc. Then when we pour pure awareness into this mind, we'll live in that world. This is at a personal level, but through our actions we also condition the world around us. We have an effect on the people and the world around us. This is how we view the world, through the lens of absolute truth. The way to view this is that relative truth is like a toolbox to allow us humans to interact with society and the people around us. But we should also witness it with absolute truth, the fact that we're deeply connected with the world, with the universe, contributing to it and conditioning it. When you start to view things in this manner, it radically changes your perspective, makes you realise you do have a purpose, you do have a point. Your status in society, your wealth position, your relationship position, all exist in the relative world. Your ability to condition the world, affect the world, exists in the absolute world. As a Buddhist, I would argue it's this perspective that's the most important. Not only that it adjusts your view of others, but these days there's a very judgmental attitude which is developed which focuses on a person's contribution to society. This is a focus on the relative truth, the world of human concepts. But when we work with mindfulness and meditation, we begin to appreciate the contribution that all humans make to the world of the absolute truth. In this way, we develop deep compassion for others, appreciate their role, and see that it's just as important as ours. As an aside, I've heard people talk about contribution in society, and then in the next breath they talk about deep spiritual nature in monks. But remember, monks have no possessions and no money. In this way, they aren't making a big contribution to society in the relative sense. So we can see that with a monk. Why can't we see it with a homeless person on the street? Homelessness is certainly not a lifestyle choice, but a homeless person can contribute exactly the same to that absolute world and its conditioned nature through compassionate action. And they can contribute exactly the same amount as a person with wealth and success. So we all have a very important purpose. Here, a mental thought experiment for you which helps envisage what this is like. Imagine the universe is a small child. I know the universe is estimated to be around 14 billion years, but it will last many, many more billion years. So you could argue it's very young. Now we can see that every sentient being in that universe is conditioning it through their thoughts and volitional actions. If all those sentient beings act in a skillful and wholesome way, that universal child would grow to be compassionate and skillful. So we all have a very important point to our lives to condition that universe. Now this is a thought experiment. I'm in no way suggesting the universe is really the mind of a child. We could really disappear down a rabbit hole of recursive parallel universes here. It's merely a model that we can use to understand the absolute view. Yes, it's another human model, a mental construct, so a relative view, you could argue. So we shouldn't get attached to the idea. But it does help us touch the sides of the absolute view and the contribution we make to it. In Buddhism, we call this view right view. Hopefully, this helps you to kind of understand, and not matter what your circumstances are, understand that you've got a very important purpose to condition yourself and the world around you, developing skillfully wholesome karma, contributing to that universe with true compassion. Okay, all well and good, but how do we do it? How can meditation help form that view? Well, firstly, to become mindful of mental objects. This is the starting point. We see them the moment thoughts are born in the mind. We can choose to just disregard them if they aren't skillful or wholesome. And this develops a habit of mind watching. Even at this level, we're starting to condition our minds. Then we move on to the practice of compassion itself, the metta bhavana. Compassion has a physical manifestation in the heart space. So we practice with the metta bhavana to start to experience and cultivate this. That's what we're going to do next. So we're going to explore this world of compassion with the metta bhavana. So again, settling yourself down. Just relax into your seat, close your eyes. Checking in with the posture, make sure you're nice and upright. Just tune in again to that experience of your whole body sitting in your seat. All those sensations you felt in the first meditation. Just experience all of that. See that complexity. Nothing static, everything changing all the time. New sensations arising and then letting go. We need a special focus on the heart with this meditation, so start to notice the body breathing. Don't alter the breath in any way, but imagine you're breathing into the heart space. This helps to take the awareness and the mind into that area. Again, remember, stay away from thoughts. Notice if they're starting to appear in the mind and let them go. Just breathing into that heart space. And you can use this breathing to soften and open in this area. Just breathing gently, softening the heart. Now, as you do this, I want you to bring to mind a good friend, someone you know, they're very close to you. You spend time together, you make each other happy. Just think of your good friend, see their face. And as you do this, keep breathing into the heart and feel the heart. Feel its response as you visualize your good friend. You see your good friend and you feel that warm smile of compassion develop in the heart. Contemplating your good friend, breathing into the heart, experiencing that compassion in the heart space. Don't worry if you can't feel anything. Remember, this is called the cultivation of loving kindness, compassion. It doesn't necessarily happen overnight, but the more you practice this, the more you'll start to feel that softening of the heart and that warming, that warm smile. See your good friend, and we offer them a traditional greeting. May you be healthy, may you be happy, may you be free from suffering. We offer this out with genuine compassion. We see our good friend, and we see some of the aspects of what they struggle with, the complexity in life, its chaotic nature, and perhaps their own vulnerabilities that cause them challenge. We observe this. Offer them this feeling of compassion. May you be healthy. May you be happy. May you be free from suffering. Just gently offering this out to them. Now we gently let go of our good friend. We're going to turn our awareness and this offering of compassion to ourselves now, as if you're sitting outside of yourself. Stay away from thought. Notice if thoughts arise that are judgmental, diminishing, and let them go. Immediately, as soon as they arrive, notice them being born in the mind and let them go. Just focus on the softening of that heart, a feeling of a gentle, contented, compassionate gaze towards yourself, your own best friend. Any tension that arises in the picture, soften into it. If you feel tension or resistance in the heart to this, breathe into the heart. Soften and let go. May you be healthy. May you be happy. May you be free from suffering. Offering this to yourself all the time. Letting go of those negative thoughts. Gentle, contented smile. We recognize our own complexity, our own vulnerability, and our impermanence. Those same three factors that we see in all the things we love. Offering ourselves. May you be healthy. May you be happy. May you be free from suffering. We can set a gentle intent in the mind to take this deep compassion towards others, the world around us, and towards ourselves. We take that out into our week, carry it with us. Like ripples in a pond, we make a difference. Om Mani Padme Hum.